Hello guys, what's up? So guys, it's me Ranju from GRIS. So here we have a new chapter of class 10, that is political parties, from a polity textbook. So let's have a look at what is mean by political parties and what are the different political parties that are existing in our society and all of those parties and different national parties and state parties, challenges to the political parties and formation of parties. So political parties are easily one of the most visible institutions in a democracy. So the political parties are the parties which can be easily one of the most visible institution in a democracy, and for most ordinary citizens democracy is equal to political parties. So for most ordinary citizens democracy equal to political parties. A political party is a group of people who come together to contest elections and hold power in the government. They agree on some policies and programs for the society with a view to promote the collective good. So, in the political parties, various elections are taking place, and the representatives are elected to the government positions, and they agree on some policies, programs for the society with a view to promote the collective good. The Election Commission has officially banned wall writing by parties during election times. So, wall writing has banned by the Election Commission. The parties reflect fundamental political divisions in a society. Political parties, are reflecting fundamental political divisions in a society. Parties are about a part of society and thus involve partisanship. So we know the political parties are about a part of society, thus involved a partisanship. Thus, a party is known by which party it stands for, which policy it supports, and whose interest it upholds. So various political parties are there in India. So each and every political parties have their own unique policies, ideas, programs, and interest of the people, and they are upholding and supporting various interests. A political party has three compounds, mainly leaders, active members, and the followers. Then comes the functions of the political parties. The parties conduct elections. The parties select their candidates in different ways. Example, in USA, the members and supporters of a party choose its candidate. So in USA, the members and supporters of a party choose its candidates. In other countries like India, the top party leaders choose candidates for contesting elections. The parties put forward different policies and programs, and the voters choose from them. And each of us have different opinions and views on what policies are suitable for the society. In a large democracy, a large number of similar opinions have to be grouped together to provide a direction in which the policies can be formulated by the government. So, in a larger democracy, there may be a large number of similar opinions that have to be grouped together to provide a direction in which the policies can be formulated by the governments. So, if the people of the society have similar kinds of interest and opinions, then the policies put forward by the government can easily or effectively implemented in our society. This is what the parties do. A party reduces a vast multitude of opinions into a few basic positions which it supports. So usually the political parties bringing out the common interest of the people out and act in a better way. A government is expected to base its policies on the line taken by the ruling party. So it is about ruling party, that is the government, who arises certain policies towards the people. The parties play a decisive role in making laws for a country. Formally, laws are debated and passed in the legislature. So we know the laws are made in the legislative, or in the made by the process of legislature, and after a lot of decision making, debates, like that, the law is passed. The parties form and run the governments. So mainly it is the political parties who form and run the governments. The parties recruit leaders, train them, and then make the ministers to run the government the way they want. So the political parties that recruiting the leaders and training them, and then make the ministers to run the government. Those parties that lose in the elections play the role of opposition to the parties in power by voicing different views and criticizing the government for its failures or wrong policies. So we know there is a ruling party as well as opposing party. So the majority become the ruling party and the minority become the opposing party. So the opposing party has major role in criticizing the government and running the government in effective manner. The parties shape public opinion. They raise and highlight issues. We know when inadequate the policies raised by the government is not suitable for the people, then they raise and highlight the issues, and sometimes there may be some types of conflicts, strikes, or riots against the policies. The parties are given a unique symbol. Only the official candidates of the party can use that election symbol. So some of the parties are given some of the symbols, political symbols. So that symbols are only owned by that parties, and that particular symbol cannot be used by any other parties or individuals. The parties that gets the privilege and some other special facilities are recognized by the election commission. For this purpose, they are called recognized political parties. So some of the parties are in a topmost position, and some of the special facilities are given to them by the election commission, so that these types of political parties are known as recognized political parties. A party that secures at least 6% of the total votes in an election to the legislative assembly to a state and wins at least 2 seats is recognized as a state party. So it's saying about what is mean by state party. If a state party is the party that secures at least 6% of the total votes in an election to the legislative assembly to a state and wins at least 2 seats. Okay, that is a state party. Then comes the national party. A party that secures at least 6% of total votes in Lok Sabha elections or assembly elections in 4 states and wins at least 4 seats in the Lok Sabha is recognized as national party. So friends, in the case of state party, that party secures at least 6% of the total votes in an election in legislative assembly to a state and wins at least 2 states is recognized as a state party. But in the case of national party, in the case of national party, there is a party acquiring 6% of total votes in Lok Sabha elections or assembly elections in 4 states and win at least 4 seats in the Lok Sabha. According to this classification, there were 7 recognized national parties in the country in 2018. So according to 2018, there are mainly 7 recognized national parties are here in India. So the first party here is AITC, that is All India Trinamool Congress. Okay, All India Trinamool Congress or AITC. So it was launched on 1st January 1998 under the leadership of Mamata Banerjee. It is recognized as a national party in 2016. So its symbol is flowers and grass. This AITC is committed to secularism and federalism. So it is the fourth largest party in Lok Sabha. And the second is Bahujan Samaj Party or BSP. It was launched in 1984 by Kanshi Ram. Includes Dalit, Adivasis, OBCs and religious minorities. Then BJP, Bharatiya Janata Party 1980, and Shyam Prasad Mukherjee is the founder, and it wants to build a strong and modern India by drawing inspiration from India's ancient culture and values. So BJP wants to build a strong and modern India by drawing inspiration from India's ancient culture and values, and also the cultural nationalism or Hindutva is an important element in its conception of Indian nationhood and policy. And it wants a uniform civil code for all people living in the country irrespective of religion and ban on religious conversions. So it wants a uniform civil code for all the people living in the country irrespective of religion and ban on religious conversions. Then the currently we know there is the BJP is ruling the our government, and currently leads the ruling NDA government at the center. Then the CPI, Communist Party of India, which is launched in 1925, believe in Marxism, Leninism, secularism and democracy, and it opposed to the forces of secessionism and communalism. Okay, CPI, that is Communist Party of India, which believes in Marxism, Leninism, secularism and democracy, and it also opposed to the forces of secessionism and communalism. Secessionism means the theory of separation. Okay, it accepts parliamentary democracy as a means of promoting the interest of working class, farmers, and poor. So, the CPI accepts parliamentary democracy as a means of promoting the interest of the working class and farmers and the poor. CPI became weak after the splitting of party in 1964 into CPI-M. Okay, so this CPI split into CPI-M in 1964. After that, it gets weakened. Then advocates are coming together of all left parties to build a strong left front. Advocates the coming together of all left parties to build a strong left front. So mainly the CPI advocating the coming together of all the left parties to build a strong left front. And next party is National Party is the Communist Party of India, Marxist. So it's all about CPI-M. It was launched in 1964 and believes in Marxism and Leninism, supports socialism, secularism, democracy, and opposes imperialism and communalism. It accepts the democratic elections as a useful and helpful means for securing the objective of socio-economic justice in India. So CPI-M mainly accepting the democratic elections as a useful and helpful means for securing the objective of socio-economic justice in India. Then INC is also known as the Congress Party, International Congress or INC, one of the oldest parties of the world. It was launched in 1885. Under the leadership of Jawaharlal Nehru, the party sought to build a modern secular democratic republic in India. It is like a centrist party, that is neither rightist or leftist nor leftist. Okay, this INC is acting as centrist party, that is, it is neither rightist nor leftist. In its ideological orientation, the party exposes secularism and welfare of weaker sections and minorities. INC supports new economic reforms but with a human face. Then comes the NCP or Nationalist Congress Party. It was launched in 1999 following a split in the Congress Party. Okay. And it espouses democracy, Gandhian secularism, equity, social justice and federalism. It NCP, that is Nationalist Congress Party, wants that the high officers in the government be confined to natural born citizens of the country. So NCP wants high officers in the government be confined to natural born citizens of the country. Then it's about the state parties or regional parties. No one national party is able to secure on its own a majority in the Lok Sabha until 2014. As a result, the national parties are compelled to form alliances with the state parties. This has contributed to the strengthening of federalism and democracy in our country. So, it is the main reason for the emergence of state parties or regional parties. So until 2014 in Lok Sabha, no one national party is able to secure on its own majority. Okay, so as a result, the national parties compelled to form alliances with the state parties. This has contributed to the strengthening of federalism and democracy in our country. Then what are the challenges to the political parties? All over the world, people express strong dissatisfaction with the failure of political parties to perform their functions well. So, mainly 4 challenges are there mainly in political parties. The first challenge is the lack of internal democracy within parties. Okay, friends. The first challenge of political party is lack of internal democracy within the parties. There is concentration of power in one or few leaders at the top. So we know in a political parties there is always a concentration of power in a few top leaders. Okay, the parties do not keep membership registers, do not hold organizational meetings, and do not conduct internal elections regularly. So in major parties, the internal elections are not conducting regularly, and the parties do not keeping any membership registers and do not holding any special organizational meetings also. The one or few leaders exercise paramount power in the party. The number who disagree with those decisions find difficult to continue in the party. So in a political party, some major top leaders who taking the decisions, sometimes these decisions cannot be accepted by the lower members in that party, so that most of the time those members cannot continue with their decisions. Then the second is it is creating some types of instabilities in the political party. Then the second challenge is the people who do not have adequate experience or popular support come to occupy positions of powers. So in some most of the cases, the most of the political leaders who cannot have adequate experience in this position or popular support, and the political leaders may not have any popular support from the people not to occupy the positions of power. Then most political parties do not practice open and transparent procedures for their functioning. So most of the functions are practicing in a manner of closed manner, and that mostly those functions are not practiced in a transparent or open manner, so that the people get lost the faith in those political parties also. The third challenge is about the growing role of money and muscle power in parties, especially during elections. So some of the regional or state parties are there, they are working in a innocent trustworthy manner, but they have no financial support to bring out that particular political party in front of the state or country. But most top positioned political parties in our country are financially well, so that these regional, some of the good better regional political parties cannot withstand with that of top political parties, due to the lack of the money and muscle power. Since the parties are focused only on winning elections, they tend to use shortcuts to win elections. During the election time, the major political leaders use some of the misdeeds or other ways, other messy ways to win the elections, like offering money to the people, or offering any grants, like alcohol like liquor to the people, to influence the people to win elections. Because that is very ridiculous. The rich people and companies who give funds to the parties tend to have influence on the policies and decisions of the party. So some of the rich people and companies are there, they are funding or sponsoring greatly to some of the political parties and influencing them. Very often the parties do not seem to offer a meaningful choice to the voters, so that the meaningfulness of the elections get lost in that way. In our country too, the differences among all the major parties on the economic policies have reduced. Sometimes the people cannot even elect very different leader, either because the same set of leaders keep shifting from party to another. So the other challenge is that most of the leaders are shifting their party positions, that is they are moving from one party to another, so that this is also taking some of the instabilities. So it's all about the challenges to the political parties. Uh, but uh, but there are some politicians who committed to well-being of the people. Then next is about the formation of the parties, and there is a term is here, defection. Defection. Defection, that is the changing party allegiance from one party on which a person got elected to a different party. Okay, defection meaning the changing party allegiance from the party on which a person got elected to a different party. So I have said that some of the politicians are there who are shifting their positions from one party to another by changing their party allegiance. The constitution was amended to prevent elected MLAs and MPs from changing parties. So according to, as per the constitution, it is there is a prevention of MLAs and MPs for changing the party's positions. This was done because many elected representatives were not to become ministers or for cash rewards. So some of the politicians are there not to become the ministers and have a dream to acquire cash rewards, and due to that they are always shifting their position. So the constitution has banned this type of shifting. Now the law says that if any MLA or MP changes the parties, he or she will be lost seat in legislature. So our law, as per the law, it is saying that Now, if any MLA or MP changes parties, he or she will lose seat in legislature. This new law has helped bring defection down. So this new law has helped bring defection down. The MPs and MLAs have to accept whatever the party leaders decide. So the MPs and the MLAs have to accept whatever the party leaders decide. Then the Supreme Court passed on an order to reduce the influence of money and criminals. Now it is mandatory for every candidate who contests elections to file an affidavit giving details of his property and criminal cases pending against him. So some of the strict rules are raised by Supreme Court in order to reduce the influence of money and criminals, and so that it is mandatory for every candidate who contests elections to file affidavit giving details of his property, criminal cases pending against him. But there is no system of check if the information given by the candidate is true. So there is no further essential check afterwards related with it. The Election Commission passed an order making it necessary for the political parties to hold their organizational elections and file their income tax returns. So the Election Commission also passed an order for the political parties to hold their organizational elections and file their income tax returns. There many suggestions are often made to reform political parties. So here the court as well as the election commissions are taking some of the decisions and making policies, laws for the effective running of the elections, political parties, etc. A law should be made to regulate the internal affairs of political parties. It should be made compulsory for political parties to maintain a register of its members, to follow its own constitution, to have an independent authority to act as a judge in case of party disputes, to hold open elections to the highest post. So a law it must be there in order to regulate the internal affairs of political parties, and also a political party should compulsorily maintain a register of its members to follow its own constitution, and also to have an independent authority to act as a judge in case of party disputes. It should be made mandatory for political parties to give a minimum number of tickets, about 1/3 to women candidates, and there should be a quota for women in the decision making bodies of the party. So we know in these political parties positions or parliamentary or in the democracy area there is a less contribution or participation of women when compared to the male, so that there should be a 1/3 of women candidates should be reserved for that arena, not to empower our women participation. Then there should be state funding of elections. The government should give parties money to support their election expenses. So in some the government is also providing support and some financial assistance for their political parties for the election expenses. This support could be given in kind, petrol, paper, telephone, etc. So there is a state funding of elections mainly for petrol, paper, and telephone like accessories. Over regulation of political parties can be counterproductive. So there must not be any regulation, over regulation of political parties. Okay, then it will be leads to a counterproductive. There are two other ways in which the political parties can be formed. Okay, the people can put pressure on political parties, or this can be done through petitions, publicity, and and agitations. So friends, it is saying that there are two other ways in which the political parties can be reformed. So the election commission can reform the policies of the political parties, and also the court has a role in reforming the political parties. And here it is saying that there are two other ways in which through which we can reform the political parties. One is through the peoples. Okay, the people can put pressure on political parties by making petitions, publicity, or just like agitations, etc. The ordinary citizens, pressure groups, and movements and media can play an important role in this. Then the second is the political parties can improve if those who want this join. Uh, so and also it is saying that the political parties can improve in its own way. The quality of democracy depends on the degree of public participation. So if there is good people are there in each democracy, then it will improve the quality of the democracy. It is difficult to reform politics if ordinary citizens do not take part in it and simply criticize it from the outside. So the participation of ordinary people is essential for the betterment of the democracy or running the government in a well manner. So friends, it's all about our chapter. So see you again. Bye. Have a nice day, guys.